In the last 2 decades, the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, ZELA, has played a central role in ensuring the environmental rights of communities are protected. They have diligently played watchdog to ensure government and private business respect and observe the rights of the citizen to a safer environment. Not only that, they have gone further to empower communities to assert their rights and also claim their stake in benefiting from natural resources around them.
My name is Tumai Murombo. I'm one of the 10 founding members of the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, which is one of the leading public interest environmental law organizations in Zimbabwe, focusing on the use of law and legal policy to advance and protect the interests of marginalized communities who live in areas where there are natural resources and are not benefiting from the exploitation of those resources.
At ZELA, we implement 5 programs: the Extractive Industries and Mining Program, the Climate Change and Energy Governance Program, the Responsible Investments and Business Program, the Local Service Delivery Governance Program, and Land and Natural Resources Program.
We realize that we are not working with the soil, we are not working with the trees, with the animals, but we are working with people, those that actually live and benefit from the environment. And these are not just people as in quotation marks, but they are men, women, girls, boys, those with disabilities, and the elderly. So there is lots of consideration on who we work with and what are the key issues that we can also put in place to support them as human beings. Not only their dependence on natural resources, not only in terms of what they'll benefit or how they've been benefiting, but also as people who've got a livelihood, who've got issues beyond natural resources that they need to address.
Munharaunda muno tine chicherwa chinonzi black granite. Chicherwa ichi chakatanga kucherwa kare, asi kumashure uku zvishoma zvatakwanisa kuwana kuburikidza nekucherwa kwechicherwa ichochi. Kusvikira ZELA yazouya muno, tazoita zvidzidziso zvakasiyana siyana zvokuti tione kuita nhaurirano dzine pundutso mukati senharaunda. Iye zvino izvi twane shanduko yakati kurei. Takwanisa kutaurirana, tichiita zvivakwa zvatinenge tichigadzisa muzvikoro zvedu, makliniki nezvimwe zvakasiyana siyana zvokuti vanhu vaone kurarama, nyangwe nekuti vanhu vanopinda sei mabasa. Zvimwe zvacho zvakukwanisa kunge tichitaurirana, kare waingoita tisina zvotabvunzwawo.
VekuZELA vaona kuti madzimai ari kusaririra, ari kusiyiwa zvakanyanya kunyaya yekupinzwa basa. Ndakatrainwa, ndiri women facilitator, ndakatrainwa kuita magroups emadzimai emukando. Saka muward mandinogara ndine magroups 13 andinotungamirira. Saka madzimai ari kuita mukando yavo yekuzvisimudzira zvekuti vanokwanisa kuwana mari yekuendesa vana kuchikoro chero shirikadzi dziri kukwanisa.
When the diamond was discovered, we thought, oh, this is now a blessing that God has created for us. We thought maybe we're now going to benefit in terms of employment, in terms of supplying food chains, in terms of other benefits that comes with mining.
Wherever they have set their foot, ZELA has significantly transformed lives, leaving communities that are not only informed on environmental issues and rights, but also able to play a significant part in deciding how resources around them should not only benefit a few, but the community at large.
Under the Land and Natural Resources Program, the main issue we are trying to address as an organization is the issue of land tenure rights for communal members of the community. You know, most of our community members are communal farmers, and we also want to ensure that we protect the farmers' rights for the communal farmers. We also look at issues to do with water in terms of water distribution and allocation to ensure that there is equitable distribution of water as a resource. What we also do under the Land and Natural Resources Program is we realize that in terms of wildlife, there is no clear community benefit scheme structure in terms of how the benefits from wildlife will then be channeled for community development. What we also do under this program, we look at forests and forest management. Zimbabwe is losing forests annually due to a number of reasons, and even given the recent power cuts, it is likely to continue that forests are going to be depleted. But forests are an important resource, even when we look at it from a climate change perspective, in terms of looking at greenhouse gas emissions and how forests and carbon can be used in alleviating this problem. So under our Land and Natural Resources Program, we look at all these resources and we look at the legal and policy framework to see how communities can benefit more from these resources. We also look at the governance in relation to participation of communities in decision making in relation to these resources. When we look at fisheries, we train communities to come together and form fishery conservancies so that they are able to fish sustainably and maintain the ecosystems upon which the rivers are based. What we also do is we look at wildlife, and we also ensure that the communities also look at community-based wildlife conservancies so as to also eliminate issues of human-wildlife conflict and loss of lives because of wildlife.
We have been able to deal with issues of land use and community displacement due to large-scale development projects, and we have published a book on the impacts of large-scale investments on farmers, and we have also done research on farmer-miner conflicts, and we have a project called the Zimbabwe Resilience Building Fund, which covers 3 areas: Binga, Mbire, and Kariba, which is along the Zambezi Valley Alliance, and we have been able to draft bylaws for Binga, which is our key achievement, and also local environmental action plans.
ZELA isati yauya waigona nguva yaubviswa pawakagara ngonzibva pano izvino kwauya vanoda kuchera usingazivi kuti unoendepi nokuti wanga usingazivi kodzero dzako. ZELA yauya takazoziva kuti munhu haangouya achikubvisa plus hakuna munhu ungouya achizoichera zvicherwa kana kumaina asina kuconsulta community. Saka taziva kuti kuconsultiwa ndo chokutanga, then isu tobvuma kana kurambirana nazvo. Saka zvakatibatsira kuti ZELA yakativhura maziso, vakativhura njere, ndo vatidzisa kodzero. Saka zvasiyana zvataiva kare nezvataiva iko zvino, kuti taiva kuziva pekutangira nemikova yekunogugudza kana uchinge wabatirirwa.
There are various processes that we use through research, through community capacity building, through provision of legal advice to government departments, and through information sharing that touches on the interest of government, that touches on the interest of private companies. Our work with local communities is defined by 3 approaches. The first being empowering the local communities to monitor and package information from the ground related to human rights violations in the natural resources sector, and 2, being able to gather information just by themselves, and 3, linking communities with decision makers and linking communities with government officials.
We had serious challenges because the government didn't want to recognize us, neither the mining company itself. That's when ZELA came in. Their first point of call was try to enlighten us that the mining of diamond was going to be done in a more organized manner. And obviously people were going to be relocated. And there must be also communication between the 3 parties. And we also had so many workshops and training workshops about human rights monitoring in the area. hence the need to register as a community organization, which is then chaired the Community Development Trust. ZELA played a very important role in educating the communities. They could take the communities on exchange visits. I have been to several countries also to learn what other countries are doing when they are mining in the communities. I went to South Africa. They organized a tour for exchange visits from Johannesburg to Kenya by road and visiting all these countries along the way and sharing experiences. And I also happened to be taken on board to Geneva twice to present at that highest forum.
Musure umo extraction ya minerals yanga ingori kuitika. And nyaya ya accountability yanga iri kutonetsa kuti waungabvunza ndiani kuti zviri kuitika pamutemo here kana kuti zviri kuitika pamutemo. Asi nekuuya kwakaita ZELA yakauya ikati register as a community based organization. Yakabva yatidzidzisa nezve rights edu kunyaya extraction ya minerals. Takabva taziya kuti vanhu vanomaina vane mapepa avanosungirwa kuva nawo as a prerequisite kuti vanofana kunge vane mining licenses, vanofana kunge vane inonzi EIA.
The Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association is a key player within the environmental playfield in the country. They are instrumental in ensuring that the different private companies and also government departments respond to what is laid down in the Constitution in terms of making sure that companies do environmental impact assessments, in terms of making sure that communities are not disadvantaged during development processes that take place either during mining activities of private companies or development of other business enterprises. ZELA is also instrumental in making communities aware of the legal provisions of the rights, environmental rights of communities and of people at large.
So ZELA, they are playing a very important role. They've also helped us to train us in monitoring the systems of mining, environmental challenges in our areas. And we've come out with so many issues that we have brought up concerning the mining companies which were operating without going through the process of EIAs.
Chatakanya kudzidza chokutanga chakanya kukosha vakadzisa vanhu kodzero dzavo vabva kuvadzisa kodzero vakadzisa kuziva kuti vanhu vazoti zviwanikwa zviri munharaunda ndezvevanhu hazvisi zvevanhu vauya kuzotora ndezvecommunity. Saka vakatraina anonzi ma-community based organizations, vakatraina ma-community monitors, vakatraina ma-environmental justice paralegals.
I think over the past 18 years, our major, what I regard as our major success is the extent to which local communities in the areas where we work are now able to engage in a conversation about natural resources and the environment, and the laws and the policies, and how they can play a role in that space with the government, local government and national government. That is very, very important. When the communities are at that level, you don't even have to litigate or to go to court, because they can engage with the mining company, they can engage with a local councillor about access to a resource, and the councillors respect their views because they are now speaking from an informed point of view.
Ndiri kuda kuti nditi vekuzela varambe vachiuya kuma communities vachiramba vachipa uchenjeri neruzivo kuma communities kuti tisimuke pamwe chete tese pasava nevanosaririra, kunyanya madzimai vanyanye kuita meeting nemadzimai, nekuti madzimai ane kakusaririra kaanoita kekuti uko hakusi kwedu, baba endai. Saka baba kana vaenda havakwanise kuzotaura zvandinoda inini semudzimai kuti zviitwe.
ZELA ngairambe ichisimudza masocks kuramba ichidzidzisa communities on their rights. Izvozvo ngaisamboita mumwe mupfupi pazviri, ngaitonyanya kuti how best can we include all the communities which are affected nemining.
I have been noticing ZELA's work in the community. They've been empowering communities through education and awareness. One of ZELA's programs that I find very interesting is that of the EnviroBot, which gives people climate information via a WhatsApp platform. So that enables a wider range of people to be able to access that information within the comfort of their own homes using their mobile phones.
Going forward, the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, we are going to be focusing on looking at key legal and policy reforms that will promote a use of renewable energy, looking at issues to do with transparency and accountability in terms of governance of revenues or funds that are allocated to address the climate change issue. We're going to be educating communities and raising awareness about preservation of indigenous knowledge systems and linking up the scientific evidence to what is happening in the communities. And we will also link up our own grassroots communities to participate in regional and international platforms that deal with climate change so that they can add a voice in demanding climate justice. We'll continue to focus on empowering the communities. Through legal empowerment, we train the communities to be environmental monitors so that they monitor the environmental situation in their mining communities, they monitor the impacts of mining, and they report the cases to the relevant authorities. We will also focus on looking at promoting transparency and accountability in the mining sector by capacitating the communities to mobilize and organize themselves so that they can speak to the duty bearers in terms of mining contract disclosure, mining contract transparency, and mining revenue transparency in line with the Zimbabwean Constitution.
The fact that we face a lot of resource constraints, that we can't cover the whole of Zimbabwe given the demand for our services by local communities. I think this is a point that would lead us to seek for additional support and assistance from development partners, and I think that is quite important for us to be able to cover many areas in the country in terms of our programming.